I'm about to restore this old mid-century dresser, and if you've been hanging around on the furniture side of the internet, you'll know that these pieces can sell for a pretty penny. It was in okay condition, the piece was structurally really good, but you'll see some damaged veneer, a bunch of scratches on the top, and it was apparently bad enough for the buyer before me to turn it down. But I could tell that these dividers here were also a different kind of wood to the wood everywhere else. So we're gonna have to do some color matching later, which I'm obviously over the moon about.
Scrape or strip. Ready?
Yeah. As I was scraping, I was surprised to see that the finish was pretty thick, as in my card scraper was barely getting through it. Apparently not for Kendall though. So I did get this piece off of Marketplace, and the lady that I bought it from was asking for $50 about an hour away from us. So for this type of piece, not too bad. And so once we were through most of the finish, I sanded it down with a 150 grit until I got to bare wood. Now, when I say this finish was thick, my orbital sander here that I'm using is really strong, and even with that, it took me quite a while. And usually it just eats through finish. Not this time. For the drawers, we decided to use a chemical stripper for the sake of time, and honestly, it's just easier. And so after waiting the 10 to 15 minutes, we were ready to scrape off. So once you get all the gunk, most of the gunk off, we use lacquer thinner and steel wool to dissolve any stripper residue that's dried on the top. I have mine in a little squeeze bottle just so I can, you know, like squirt it out easy. So we let that dry, and then we go in with a 150 again to get anything that we missed. This is a veneered piece, so we made sure to be extra careful around the edges so that we don't blow through it. Then with our detail sander as well as a scraper, we got to work on the little divider pieces. So you'll see here with the orbital sander just how different this wood is compared to the rest of the wood that's been stripped. It's really common for manufacturers to use a combination of woods in their furniture, and in my experience they'll usually do like a cheaper solid wood for any trim work, and it's almost always like a paler yellow wood compared to the rest. But then they color match it with different stains and then also tone everything just so everything looks cohesive. There's a curved portion here where like your fingers are supposed to go to pull out the drawer that was actually pretty hard to get into, so we decided to strip that first. But we still had to detail sand as well as hand sand to get it totally clean. So now it's time to work on the sides. There was some tape on this side that I almost missed since it was clear, so we used Goo Gone to loosen and remove it. I actually bought this on a whim because I thought it would be like a nice to have kind of purchase, but I'm almost done like half of it just from needing it from time to time. I feel like that's the case for a lot of tools and products. You don't really need them until it's the only thing that'll get it done for you.
Cool. There we go. Really hard. Yeah. Oh. Put it off right now.
Now, like I said, this piece was walnut veneered, but it did have a particle board core. I know a lot of people turn their nose up as soon as they hear particle board, but this is actually really common in MCM furniture, and as long as it's kept well and doesn't have any water damage like this one, you can see that this vintage dresser is still really solid. Now let's make some repairs. Since we're keeping this piece all wood, we're gonna patch all the damage with some old walnut veneer that I have lying around. So just using a metal ruler, we cut off a strip of the old veneer just to make it even, as patching a nice shape will be a lot easier than patching like a jagged piece. I'm essentially making a template with some tape and pencil, so I can transfer that exact shape to a new piece of veneer.
Yeah.
The next day, we took off the tape that was holding it down, and Kendall's helped me cut most of the overhanging veneer so that we can sand it more securely. Matches up like perfect. Got the two lines, but for any gaps, we just dab some glue on it, and while the glue is still tacky, I'll go over it with like a power sander. That'll create like your perfect color wood filler. Are tangled hoses just a fact of life, or is there something I can do about it? Because untangling them, just... God. Anyway, it's time to sand everything down one final time before we can get to the good stuff. So I wet the wood down with some mineral spirits just to clean it from the dust, and I'm not using water because I don't want to pop the grain, because that would mean an extra round of sanding. And wetting the wood will also show the final color of the wood if I were to put a clear finish on it, like this Danish oil I'm about to use.
Oh my god.
So this type of product is actually a blend of usually tung oil and polyurethane, which means it penetrates and hardens from the inside out, and that's how it protects the wood. It comes in a bunch of different colors, but for a beautiful walnut like this, we're just gonna use clear. Now the drawers are solid wood, but it's got that walnut veneer on top, so the edges need to be color matched. So to do that, I'm using a walnut water-based stain. And lastly, 2 of the plastic guides were broken, so we replaced those as well. Now, before we show you the reveal, let's rewind and take it back to how it started. There were quite a few areas of damage, some missing veneer, a bunch of scratches, and it was overall just a bit dull. But after a lot of stripping and sanding our hands off, we did away with that orange factory look and gave the wood its natural color back. Now, onto the numbers. Like I said earlier, we got this for $50 and supplies were about $25 to do everything, and then we were able to sell it on Marketplace for $675, giving us a profit of $600. That's it everyone, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and Kendall and I will see you in the next one.